We have made it to September here in year number 4 of the Chicago White Sox franchise on MLB The Show 25. Today we'll wrap up the regular season and find out if we are going to the playoffs. I wanted to get this episode out a couple days ago, but I had some issues with my data on MLB The Show. I don't know why. I had to delete and reinstall the game. It was a pain. Obviously, all my data is saved, as you can see. We're good. But I had to completely adjust my schedule. Virginia Tech was supposed to be today. That's obviously not today. That's going to be tomorrow instead. Our team had a really good month of August, though. We've been right around 500 pretty much the entire year, but we had a great month, despite both of our trade deadline acquisitions not really playing that well. We acquired Garrett Hampson from the A's. He's had a career year offensively. He had a really hot start, and I figured his numbers would not stay at what they were. But even so, he has been a nothing burger on offense. He has been a liability at the plate, slugging sub 200 in his last 10 games. And then we got Dean Kremer from the Toronto Blue Jays. I wanted to add another veteran arm, whether it was a starter or as a reliever. He's been up and down. He started in 6-7 games for us so far, and he really has not been great. So neither of those two have played particularly well, but the team has looked just fine. I made the decision to buy rather than sell, despite clearly being out of the playoff picture, for the simple reason of, why not? I mean, these guys have never played meaningful baseball games this late into the season, so I figured at the very least we'll be playing competitive games in September and hopefully get all of these young guys postseason experience. I think that's a lot more valuable than just selling off more veterans and adding more prospects in what already is a very deep farm system. Well, now it's time to play those big games. We're 3.5 out of the division lead with Detroit, who's currently ahead of us, and then we're the number 1 team out of a wild card spot right now, 3 games behind Boston, 5 behind the Yankees and the Orioles, and we cannot forget about Cleveland or Texas. Those teams are within striking distance of us, and obviously they have really good rosters and a lot of postseason experience. They could easily get hot here in September. We're very close to matching our win total from last year. We need just 1 more to tie it and 2 more to win more games than we have yet in this series. And of course, we got some very exciting news in the last episode that our first round pick, Shane Schmidt, is generational. He looks like a complete monster, and he's a guy who can really change this franchise around and give us a cornerstone at the top of the lineup at first base. So coming off a strong month of August, that brings us here to September, and immediately 3 games at home against Cleveland. We're going right into the ringer against another potential wild card contender. Then it gets a little easier. 10 straight games with the Royals, the Braves, and the Astros. All 3 of those teams are out of the playoff picture. Then it gets a little harder after that with Boston, who's the first team ahead of us. So that could prove to be a huge series down the stretch, followed by Seattle and the Rangers to finish things off. Last episode, our wheel spin was for Oswaldo Escobedo. He landed on crisscross, swapping his stats with righties and lefties, and I don't really think it changed much for him. He just has not played well as the year has gone along. He started off very strong, but really hasn't been that good since roughly halfway through May, and I think he's going to play a lot less here in September because we have other guys like Daniel Schneemann and even Chase Mydruff who have been flat out better than him over the last 2 months. As for our wheel spin for September, I'm going to pick Drew Thorpe. I think he's this team's X factor over the last month of the year because he's been disappointing. He's had his worst season of the series. He started the year off red hot, but just hasn't been good really since like the middle of May. Over his last 10 games, his numbers really reflect that. He's supposed to be the ace of the staff. He's supposed to be the leader of the pitchers. He needs to have a good month if we want to make the postseason. And he needs to have a good month for his own stake because he lands on spitting image. Change ratings solely based on performance. So he will have a full season's worth of upgrades or downgrades based on how he plays here in the month of September. So we need him to play well for this playoff run, and he needs to play well for the sake of his ratings. Last episode for our wheel spins across the league, we did the National League East. That is the Phillies division to lose. They seem like maybe the favorite to win the whole thing, even with Kyle Tucker tearing his ACL back in June. As for some of the other notable spins, Cal Raleigh landed on the walks spin. For every 2 walks he gets, his plate discipline goes up by 1, and he had 8 walks this month, so his plate discipline will go up by 4, now to an 81. Jordan Lawler, for every multi-hit game, his contact goes up by 1. He did not have a great first month with the Braves, but he did have 3 multi-hit games, including his most recent against St. Louis. So his contact ratings will go up by 3. That should certainly help him out quite a bit, and I'm curious to see if this trade, him for Matt Olson, ages well for Atlanta. Mackenzie Gore, he will go up in potential by 1 for every .3 WAR. Started off really slow, but then played great down the stretch. A pair of scoreless games to finish off the month of August. He had .4 WAR, so his potential goes up by 1. One more division to do. That's the American League East. And it's really fitting that we're doing the AL East today because we're competing with the Orioles, the Yankees, and the Red Sox for a playoff spot. And technically the Rays, if they were to collapse and lose the division. But right now, Tampa Bay is the 1 seed. Even after losing Sandy Alcantara in free agency, these guys haven't missed a beat. The Christopher Sanchez deal in the offseason, the Brent Rooker trade at the deadline. They're making all the right moves. Rooker's been outstanding since they got him last episode, so he will be our wheel spin for the Rays today. And he lands on no easy outs. This is what Cal Raleigh landed on in August. He'll get .5 plate discipline for every walk, and, well, he should get quite a few. Double-digit walk rate over the last 4 years. So this should certainly benefit him quite a bit. Already one of the best hitters in baseball. The Orioles did not start the year that well. They were .500 for a while, but they're really starting to play well. Obviously, Gunnar Henderson gone now with the Dodgers, and Jackson Holliday has replaced him like a glove at shortstop. 72 home runs over the last 2 seasons. He's become one of the best players in the league, flat out. I mean, he is really, really good. 5.8 WAR with a full month to go. He has earned this wheel spin. He has turned into an absolute superstar and is living up to the upside of being the #1 pick. Didn't we just get this? No easy outs for Jackson Holliday as well. Does this one have like a magnet on it or something? I don't know. 9.4% walk rate, so a little bit under 10, but still pretty solid, and he could really use a boost to his plate discipline. The Yankees were firmly competing with for a playoff spot, and a guy who I feel like has really made a lot of strides at the plate this year is Jason Dominguez. He has played fantastic, at least offensively this season. 33 home runs. He's really ascended into the young player that the Yankees had hoped. Finally, we're not going to land on no easy outs. Boosted, plus 15 to his hitting stats. That's a big win for Dominguez and the Yankees. He's already having a great year. OPS super high. WAR is only 1.9. That's because he is a liability on defense, but he's been so good offensively this year. So contact will go up by 15. His power versus righties will only go up by 3 because it's now a 99. So I'm going to put all those into power versus lefties. Yeah, 99 and 95 power ratings. That is frightening. The Red Sox right now are our #1 competition. We're praying for a bad wheel spin. I decided to pick Marcelo Mayer for the Red Sox. He's having a really good year and is turning into a nice player. In 84 games this year, he's hitting 300. OPS right around 800. On pace for a 4 WAR season if he played a full season. So hopefully the wheel gods do not do him nice because we need anything going against the Red Sox that we can get. Contact Kid, plus 20 contact, minus 20 power. He's already hitting for great contact, and he's already hitting for not much power. So this just kind of makes his ratings more extreme, which I think is probably a good thing for him, although his overall rating went down, so maybe not. And then Toronto, they were the best team in the league the first month of the year, and they've just gotten worse and worse and worse. And I think David Marin kind of reflects that. He started the year off really well. Now, he's only played 40 games, but he's cooled off. Despite that, though, he's shown a lot of good things. He has 10 home runs. He has almost 20 extra base hits. That's a lot in a 40-game sample. Well, he's going to hopefully continue to hit for more power. Bombs away, plus 1 power for every home run that he hits. So now that we've got our wheel spins done for Season 4, all hands on deck here for the month of September. We'll move a little bit slower, given that every game and every series is just that much more important, particularly this one against Cleveland. We're 2.5 games ahead of the Guardians right now, and we can really put ourselves in a good spot over them if we win this series. We do have to put 2 more players on the big league roster, though. We have a lot of major league caliber infielders in AAA, but none of them are playing well. Luis Angel Acuna has been good overall in the minors, but he's in a slump. 500 OPS over his last 10, and that's with a 4-hit game. Colson Montgomery's been a replacement level AAA guy. I mean, his disappointing season just continues. And then even Jacob Gonzalez, since we called him down, he really hasn't been all that impressive either. I don't feel good about bringing any of these guys up at the time being. So we're going to call up Dominic Canzone, who's had a really nice year in AAA. Now, he's also in the midst of a slump, but he's had a great season. 15 homers, super high walk rate, walk-to-strikeout ratio is even. He's played 30 games with the big league club over the last 2 years and has shown some good things. So I'm happy to have him back up for this month. And then we're going to add a pitcher as well. For much of the year, I would have expected this to be Emiliano Teodo, but he has really cooled off, coming off a game where he allowed 6 earned runs in 1 inning. Maybe Wilkerman Gonzalez. He's coming off a game where he allowed 5 runs in 2 1/3 innings. And then we get to Jagger Haynes, who was awful the first 2 months of the year, but his numbers have been completely rebuilt. That's because he's been on another level. In his last 10 games, ERA of 1, whip below 1. He's only allowed 7 runs in this stretch. He has been dominant, complete, night and day from the first half of the season to now, and he's got plenty of big league experience. He started in 16 games, which is roughly half a season worth of action, where he's been respectable. I wouldn't say he's been good in the big leagues, but he hasn't been bad, per se. He's going to play in the bullpen. I wanted to start him, but I just don't feel comfortable with taking any of these guys out of the rotation. Even Higgins Smith, who just has not been good at all over the summer. He is coming off a good start in his most recent outing, though, against Seattle. All right, so with that, we can get this show on the road. Game 1, we won 7-3, and now we can win the series here in the second game. Bottom 9, down by 1, bases loaded with nobody out. This is like the bases loaded final boss. I mean, there's no shot we blow this here. All we need to do is put the ball in play once, and we're going to tie the game. Teal behind 0-2, swinging a miss on the fastball, and now things get a little bit dicey. Because if we put this ball on the ground, it could be a double play. Cleveland's going to take Cade Smith out of the game. He obviously didn't pitch very well, letting the bases get loaded. So he'll be replaced by the lefty Tim Herron, who will face off against Edgar Quero. And the objective for Edgar here is simple. All he has to do is not put the ball on the ground. You have got to be kidding me! Cleveland wins it 4-3. How? We had the bases loaded with nobody out, down by 1. And if I were to handpick the 2 guys I would want to bat in those spots, it would be Kyle Teal and Edgar Quero. And they both just blew it. Yeah, we like to joke around about us loading the bases and not scoring runs, but this is not another Tuesday in June. This is against Cleveland, a team we're fighting with for a playoff spot. We could not afford to lose this game, and the momentum of this loss could lead to us spiraling. We absolutely must win this last game. We cannot let Cleveland get back into the race, and we cannot fall behind the other teams in the wild card picture. Problem is we're down 3-1, but we've got 2 runners on base, Quero and Teal, the 2 guys who blew it for us in the last game. 2-2 for Brian Ramos, swinging a miss on the splitter, and we're down to our final out of the series. We need as big of a hit as we can get from Braden Montgomery right here, right now against Cade Smith. Belts this one in the gap. That's going to go for extras and could tie the game. Quero scores. Teal waved around third. There will be no play at the plate. When we need a big hit, we can trust Braden Montgomery to come up big. And this game is knotted up. Cade Smith nearly blew the last game, and he blows it here. Hunter Gaddis, who is an ERA at 1.5, will come in to replace him with BMO, the winning run in scoring position for Corey Julks, who's been outstanding over the last couple of months. This ball is hit high into right center. I don't think it quite has enough on it, all the way to the warning track, where it is eventually caught by George Valera, and we are headed to extras. So Cleveland would score. Jose Ramirez with a sacrifice fly, making it 4-3. Julks, who's pretty fast, is at second base, and that'll bring up Garrett Hampson, who I don't really trust in this spot, but we're going to ride it out with him. Behind 1-2, swinging a miss on the slider, and once again, we're down to our last out. We're going to need some late-inning Daniel Schneemann devil magic. Oh my goodness! If nobody's got me, I know Daniel Schneemann's got me! Walks it off! The White Sox win it 5-4. The former Guardian, Daniel Schneemann, against his old team, walks it off to win it in extras for Chicago. This is not just any win, though. This is our most pivotal win of this entire franchise so far. We could not afford to lose this series against Cleveland. We cannot continue to fall behind Boston and Detroit. We could not let Cleveland get back into the wild card race, and after blowing the second game of this series, we had to win this game, and we found a way. The 2-run double in the 9th by Montgomery, and the home run to win it in the 10th by Daniel Schneemann. When in doubt, when we need a hit late in the game and Daniel Schneemann is up to bat, he's going to make the play. And he just made the biggest play of the series. 7 innings of run ball for Tanner Bybee. He's not had a good year, but was great today. But their bullpen, they fell apart. Allowed 2 in the 9th, 2 in the 10th. And that loss may kill Cleveland's season while potentially saving ours. And now we get to the easy part of the schedule against the Royals, Astros, and Braves, all of whom are out of the playoff picture right now. We're still 3 back in the wild card race, 2.5 back in the Central, but we can really make some noise here. The Royals, Braves, and Astros are not good. With these 10 games, we've got to win probably 7. We can afford to lose 1 game in each series, and that's it. It's not going to be easy, though. 7 games on the road, 4 in Kansas City against a rival. As the bases are loaded again, it's Chase Mydroff. Swing and a miss! On the fastball, clocking in at 100. So we would take the lead after that. That's the good news. The bad news is they walked it off. Jack Caglione, RBI single to win it, 3-2. I said we can afford to lose 1 game against the Royals. Well, here's the one. We've got to win these next 3 against Kansas City. Prelander Berroa is off the injured list. That's good news. He's been out for a little bit over a month. Berroa's been unbelievably good this year. 2.29 ERA, 1.05 whip. And over his last 10, he's been absurd. I mean, look at these numbers. So who are we going to send down in his place? Well, unfortunately, it is no longer time for Paul Sewald to pitch. He played really well early in the season for us, but at 37 years old, he fell off a cliff. 8.71 ERA over his last 10. I mean, he's been rough. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to DFA him. And Paul Sewald is gone. F in the chat. So, of this 10-game stretch against the bottom dwellers, we'll call them, I said we needed to go 7-3. Well, we're already 0-1. So, now we've got to go 7-2. We lead this game 2-0. This is the second game of 4 against the Royals. They've got 2-1, though, here in the 9th. Wilyer Abreu flies this one into center. Luis Robert after it, and he will make the play. We've got a little bit of wiggle room here with Ezra Valenzuela, but we certainly don't want him to get carried away. Teoscar Hernandez up the middle, base hit. That'll score 1. Okay, well, that's the margin of error. That's the cutoff that we had. The Royals got 1. That's okay, but we can't let them get any more. Tying run at second, winning run at first for Blake Mitchell, who pops it up. Ramos is under it, and he will struggle to make the catch, but he does. The White Sox win Game 2 here in Kansas City, 2-1. So it's been about the pitching in this series against the Royals so far. We only scored 2 runs in both games, which is not great. Teal homered, Mydroff 2 hits and an RBI. Dean Kremer 8 scoreless. That's why we traded for him. His best game as a White Sox. Love to see it. So we ended up splitting the last 2 games, which is not the worst thing, but it's not great. Drew Thorpe gets the loss in Game 3, 5 2/3, allowing 4. His inconsistencies continue. Now, luckily, we won the last game. Lou Bob with a homer. Cruz drove in 3. Noah Schultz leading the charge. I would have liked to have won 3 of 4. Only getting 2 is not great. We're within 2 of the Tigers, though, who are struggling, and now 2.5 of the Yankees, who have lost 3 in a row and have only won 2 of their last 10. So if we want to go 7-3, we've got to win 5 of the next 6 against Atlanta and Houston. We lead this game 4-2 against the Braves. Bases loaded, bottom of the 8th for Federico Soto, a player we almost drafted a couple years ago, and it's on the ground. Hosey to Schneemann over to first. No, he's safe! How did we not get to the base in time? It's September. We're playing for the postseason. Now is not the time for fundamental lapses we could have had the inning over. Harris swinging a miss, so at least we get the strikeout and get out of it. We didn't need to allow that third run, though. We could have had a little bit more wiggle room up by 2. You can make the argument that Santillan should have gotten to the bag quicker, but I think that was on Cody Hosey, the first baseman, and he was right there. He could have easily made the play. All right, let's go bottom 9. James Parnell reaches base. He is the tying run for the Braves. And that'll bring up Austin Riley here against Valenzuela. This one is hit well into right field. Cruz after it, and he will make the play for the first out of this inning. Cruz has played in this park certainly a handful of times, the former National. Cole Emerson now up, acquired last year at the deadline in the Spencer Strider deal. He's even 3-2, up the middle. Mydroff, what a play! Throw to first is in time! An unbelievable scoop by Chase Mydroff. He has been so good for us defensively since we brought him up a couple months ago. It's down to Freeland. That one gets away, and it will advance Parnell over to third. Doesn't change a whole lot because a base hit would probably score him anyway, but an infield single drives him in now. We're pitching around the zone. Don't want to give him anything too good as the full count pitch is popped up into foul territory. Ramos under it, makes the play. And the White Sox win it 4-3, taking the first of 3 against the Braves. Good showing here for Chicago. It got a little dicey there in the 8th, but we're able to hold on and win it anyway. Kyle Teal homers twice. He has been excellent for us here in September. Braden Montgomery, 2 hits. He drove in the other 2 runs. Lubob also with 2 hits. Nobody else really showed up offensively. 4 innings for John Gray. He was pretty average. Bullpen did a pretty good job, though, in the win. We ended up winning the second game, but Hagen Smith sprained elbow ligament. He'll be out for a week or 2. Elbow injuries with pitchers, those are always scary. Smith pitched a good game, 4 2/3, only allowing 1 run. He's played well here in September, despite his struggles throughout this season. Who are we going to replace him with in the rotation? Wisniewski was a starter most of the year. Baroa's been great this season, but I'm going to go with Jagger Haynes. He's pitched 2 big league innings this year, but I don't know. I just have a lot of faith in him, and I think that he'll pitch well enough for us to hold down the fort. Inole Paredes, meanwhile, will take Smith's spot on the roster. He's been pretty good in AAA and is the pitcher right now in the minors who I would trust the most in the bullpen. We ended up losing the last game, 2-1. Not a great showing from the offense, who really has not been great here in September. We had a good game from Dean Kremer, 6 innings of 1-run ball. I said I wanted to go 7-3. Well, now we're 4-3, which would require us to sweep the Astros. Look at this, though. We're 1 back at the Tigers. Detroit's not playing well. We're making up a lot of ground. 2.5 games within both the Red Sox and the Yankees. So even though we have not played all that great so far, 6-4 today, a lot of the teams ahead of us have not been very good, particularly Detroit. So that brings us to this pivotal 3-game set against the Astros. We're up 1-0 here in the first game with a homer by Edgar Caro. The pitching continues to be great. Drew Thorpe was phenomenal on the mound, but the offense continues to let us down. Joaquin Hernandez is up with the bases loaded, and obviously we don't want to give him anything too good, but we also have to throw strikes because we don't want to walk in a run. This one is belted into center. That'll go for a hit. Should score 2. The throw from Luis Robert is not in time, and the Astros take the lead 2-1. Drew Thorpe had his best start in arguably months, and the bullpen and the offense has pissed it away. We'll see if they can add to the lead. Mydroff, what a play. Doesn't know where to throw the ball, though. He hesitated. A run scores. Quan is safe at first. Everybody's safe. A rookie mistake when the lights are the brightest for Mydroff. Jace Young puts it on the ground. We'll have another chance at the double play, which we get to end the inning. Astros get 3, though, to take the lead. The moment too big for Brock Burke and Chase Mydroff. However, we would tie it in the bottom of the 7th. Luis Robert, La Pantera, with a 2-run shot. We're knotted up at 3. And now here in the 8th, the bases are loaded again. And to be specific, Tony Santillan walked the bases loaded. I do not trust him to get this last out, so we're going to pull him here and bring in the youngster Ezra Valenzuela. Ezra's been a little shaky in September. The big moment, has not quite been easy for him, but he's our best reliever, and we've got to trust in him to get us out of this spot. He'll face off against Joel Santana, acquired last year in the Yordan Alvarez, Josh Hader deal with the Marlins as he swings and misses at the sinker and is already behind 0-2. And now Ezra can get a little wacky if he wants, looking to get out of the jam within 3 pitches. The 0-2 inside cutter, up the middle, Hampson makes the play, and Houston leaves him loaded. That's the good news. The bad news is Ezra would completely piss down his leg in the 9th, and we lost. We actually took the lead. Brian Ramos solo homer in the 8th, but then Ezra Valenzuela in that 9th inning, the moment and the lights were certainly too bright as we lose the first game against the Astros. 5 innings of 1-run ball for Hayden Birdsong. And then on the mound, Drew Thorpe was terrific. 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs. But the bullpen, the offense, and even the defense from Chase Mydroff blew it. The starting pitching has been awesome here in September, but everybody else has been really shaky for us. I said I wanted to go 7-3. Well, that can't happen because now we're 4-4. We've got to win these last 2 games. We cannot afford to lose this series against Houston. We're down 3-2, though, in the bottom of the 9th. Tyne runs at second base for Braden Montgomery, and as I said earlier, whenever we need big hits and Braden Montgomery's up, he usually delivers. Hitting from the right side of the plate against Matt Strahm. First pitch of the AB, in for a strike. And now Montgomery's going to have to protect. He's going to have to be a little more aggressive. We don't need him to swing for the fences. Just extend the game. Get on base. Get a hit. Get a walk. Just keep the game going. I don't think he extended the game. Into center field. It's gone! Walk-off home run for Braden Montgomery. He did not extend the game. He ended it. And the White Sox walk it off again. Bima with the winner for Chicago as we take it by the final score of 4-3. Braden Montgomery delivers once again a potential season-saving home run. This is not a game that we can afford to lose whatsoever. This is not a series that we can afford to lose. And Braden Montgomery in the bottom of the 9th comes up big. Wow, what a win. And now we've got to win this series. We've got to win the last game as well, giving us some momentum into our most important set of the year against Boston. Noble Myers, 6 innings of 1-run ball. He was really good, but Matt Strahm blew it down the stretch. Kyle Teal was really good again. He had the other 2 RBIs along with Montgomery. Nobody else on offense was very good. I mean, Noah Schultz, 7 innings of 1-run ball. He was great, but the rest of the team almost lost it for him again. We're down 3-2 here in the bottom of the 8th. 2 on, 2 away for Brian Ramos, the most pivotal at-bat of the season so far against Porter Rush. Behind 0-2. That one gets away. We're going to move both runners up, and this changes things because now a base hit probably brings home 2 and would give us the lead. A huge opportunity for Ramos, who fishes on the slider. That was not the pitch to swing at. What are you doing, Brian? So now we're going to move into the bottom of the 9th. Braden Montgomery reaches base. That might be the least surprising thing all day. And with 1 away, Garrett Hampson is up. The idea of Garrett Hampson hitting here is intriguing because if he gets on base, he's really fast and he'd be the winning run. However, Kyle Teal is on the bench, and it's a little tricky because a lefty is in the game, Matt Strahm. Kyle Teal's not great against lefties. However, he's been our best player this year, and when you have an opportunity to throw your star player into a moment where they have to be a star, I feel like we've got to do it. We've got to let Kyle Teal make a play here as he looks at the sinker and is now behind in the count 1-2. Even though he's not good against lefties, we trust him. We believe in him in this spot as he chases the high fastball. Another great pitch from Strahm. That was not the pitch, Valentine. Why are we swinging at that? And it'll come down to Cody Hosey. Tyne run at first. Hosey's a guy who gets on base consistently. That's all we need him to do. He just needs to extend the game. A base hit, a walk, anything. I was trying to manifest another home run with that. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen as it's caught, and the Astros win the game 3-2, and they win the series. Not ideal, partner. I said we needed to go 7-3 in this pivotal 10-game stretch, our most important 10 games of the year. We went 5-5, which isn't horrible, but when we need all the wins we can get, especially against bad teams like Kansas City, Atlanta, and Houston, 5-5 is probably not good enough. John Gray was really good, but the offense didn't do enough. The offense was really not good in the series against Houston or Atlanta or Kansas City, for that matter. We're lucky the Tigers have not played very well in September, losing all 4 of their series, keeping us within a game of them. As for the wild card race, again, Boston now has that 3rd spot. We are 3 back, and of course, we're about to play Boston. Over the last week, they've played the Yankees and the Orioles, and they only went 3-4. Obviously, they had to beat those teams for wild card purposes, and they didn't. They went right around 500, just like us. So now that sets both of these teams up for their most pivotal 3-game stretches of the year. I'm going to play the last game, Ace versus Ace, Thorpe versus McGill, and this is a really interesting first game. Jagger Haynes has thrown 2 major league innings this year. Brian Bayo has only thrown 13. Yet both guys played unbelievable. The starting pitching again was great, and the offense again was not good at all. Tied at 1 here in the top of the 10th. One away for Jordan Beck. It's on the ground. Mydroff hamps it over to first. Not in time. Good effort, but a good hustle by Beck. Ezra Valenzuela's not had a great September. The moment has looked too big for him. But we'll see if he can right his wrongs here as Casas blasts the ball. But it goes foul. And the count is evened up here at 2-2. Following pitch, again, fouled off as Ezra mislocates the curveball. Casas seems to be ahead of these pitches. 2-2. Swing and a miss on the cutter. Ezra gets out of the 10th. Remains tied at 1. He's fired up. I feel like we've got to play the rest of this game, right? We've got to try to walk it off. That's Corey Julks, I believe, at second base. So we've got some speed aboard. Mydroff is up, hitting .295. He's been good this year, but he's had some bad moments during this recent stretch. He's looked like a rookie in these big games as the fly ball is caught in center field by Roman Anthony. And we're not going to send Corey Julks. I don't think it's worth the risk. One away, back to the top of the order. Dylan Cruz is up for the White Sox. He's 0 for 4 today. The 0-1, that one splits the third baseman and the shortstop. Julks around third to the plate. The throw is well off from Taylor Ward. And the White Sox walk it off. Dylan Cruz wins it for Chicago 4-3. We take the first of 3 against Boston, and we are within 2 of the final wild card spot. Theoretically, if we sweep the Red Sox in this series, we would have the same record as them going into the last 6 games. I feel like the only realistic way we can catch up to them is with a sweep, so that's a good start. Brian Bayo did not make it out of the 2nd inning, but not because he struggled. I assume because he got hurt. David Sandlin, 5 2/3, only allowing 1 hit and 1 run. As for Jagger Haynes, in the biggest game of his career, 7 shutty before allowing a home run in the 8th. What a performance in the biggest game of his life. He was awesome, vindicating our decision to move him into the rotation. So now in the 2nd game, bottom of the 9th, we're down 4-3, but we've scored 2 runs here in the 9th, and we've got 2 more guys on. Interestingly, Brian Ramos and Luis Robert are both available on the bench. Why would these guys not have played, though? I mean, this is a must-win game for playoff purposes, and we're playing the B team? Why? We're going to bring in Luis Robert. I don't know why him, Ramos, or even Dylan Cruz did not play. It does not make any sense at all to me. But we had the tying run at 2nd, winning run at 1st. As Robert looks at the sweeper, he wanted to stay ahead of the count early, but now 2-1. He's going to have to be a little more aggressive against Justin Slayton. 2-1 on the way, and he tops it! Slams the bat. That's as good of a pitch as he could have asked for. Caught by Marcelo Mayer, and the Red Sox win Game 2, tying the series at 1. A sweeper right down the middle at 83 miles an hour. That's a meatball. I mean, he wanted to crush that ball out of the park. But unfortunately, he just misplayed it. So we lose the game 4-3. Despite the Red Sox best efforts of handing it to us, they had 3 errors, including 2 by Mayer. David Sandlin, 7 innings of 1-run ball. Didn't he just pitch yesterday? Wait a damn minute. This dude pitched back-to-back games, essentially, and allowed 1 hit in both of them. That is embarrassing. That is such a bad look for us. And now we're back to being 3 games behind the Red Sox and 2 back behind Detroit with 1 week to go. That'll bring us into the final game of the series, our most important game of the year so far. I feel like that's been the case about 5 separate times today. But now more than ever, we have to win this game. The offense needs to play better. We've had some guys play well as of recent. Brandon Montgomery, Luis Robert, Kyle Teal, 372 over his last 24. But everybody else, for the most part, has not been very good. The reason why we're still in the race is our starting pitching. These guys have been awesome over the last few weeks, every single one of them. As we take a look at both lineups, the White Sox playing their best 9 today. These are the 9 guys I think give us the best chance to win. I don't know why we didn't do that in Game 2. That makes no sense to me. Here is Drew Thorpe. He's the ace of the staff. He hasn't looked like the ace over the last 3 months, but we need him to be on his A game today. Starting with Marcelo Mayer. Swing and a miss on the slider. Good start for Drew Thorpe. That'll bring up the second hitter, Nelly Taylor. His first big league game of the year. Deflects off of his noggin. Thorpe picks it up. Throw to first is in time. You have got to be kidding me. This is our biggest game of the year, and the ace has to be taken out? It's not believed the player has suffered a concussion. Then why is he coming out of the game? Keep him in, doctor! That is such an insane stroke of bad luck for the White Sox, as Jairo Iriarte will replace him. The idea is that Iriarte is going to throw roughly an inning, and then we're going to have other guys like Wisniewski and Baroa warm up in the bullpen now, and those guys will throw multiple innings instead. Rafael Devers draws a walk. 3-1 for Masataka Yoshida, and he also draws a walk. Jairo's control clearly is off, and understandably so. He was not prepared to come into the game. Really nice pitch on the 1-1 for Connor Juan. And now that he's ahead of Juan, he can get a little bit more creative if he wants to. The 1-2. Check swing. Went around for strike 3. Well, that first inning did not go to plan. Yeah, the Red Sox didn't score, but that's about as bad of an alternative as we could have asked for with Drew Thorpe removed from the game. The Red Sox are going to start their ace, Tyler McGill, who they signed in the offseason from the Mets. He'll start with Braden Montgomery. Ooh, that is a good take for ball 4. That was clearly a strike. Yeah, not even close. The umpire wanted to give us a mulligan there. I guess he felt bad that Drew Thorpe got hurt. Kyle Teal, full count. He draws a walk. That was not as impressive of a take, but still good that he didn't swing. So we've got the first 2 batters aboard and an opportunity to really get some early runs. 2-2 for Luis Robert, and he will go down looking. That one is called a strike. McGill's not giving us anything to swing at. He's pitching all around the corners, nothing down the middle. Case in point, Caro goes down looking as well. All of these pitches are right on the edge. I mean, he is locating them pretty much perfectly. 2-2 for Ramos, line to short. Mayer makes the play after his 2-error performance in Game 2 that nearly cost Boston the win. And we'll move into the second. Iriarte will stay in the game for now, but probably not for long, as Christian Campbell boops this one into the outfield. That will go for a hit, and that'll probably be it for Jairo Iriarte. Between Hayden Wisniewski and Prelander Baroa, I think I trust Wisniewski a little bit more. Baroa's been great this year, but he actually has not pitched since his injury. He has not thrown in a major league game in about 2 months. So I don't know what to expect, and I don't really want to find out. Runner goes. Rafaela strikes out. Throw to second is in time. Doubled him up. Edgar Caro, part-time ball player, full-time sniper. And the White Sox make it out of the second alive. Bottom 2. Schneemann hits this one well into left. At the track, at the wall, it is caught. And the White Sox get nothing going here in the bottom half. 6 consecutive batters retired for Tyler McGill, and that'll bring us into the third. The goal for Wisniewski is for him to go as long as he can. 3, maybe 4 innings if he pitches well, obviously, as that will bring back up Nelly Taylor. And he hits this one into center with 2 away. Lou Bob under it, and he will make the play. Really bold strategy by Boston to play Nelly Taylor, a guy who has not played in a big league game since season 2. Not only that, but hit him in the 2 slot in his first game back. That just seems really irresponsible. Boston playing with fire. 3 games up on us for the last wild card spot. Cody Hosey goes down looking. Again, McGill's giving us nothing to hit. He's doing a great job of locating these pitches and keeping them as far away from the middle of the zone as possible. 3-1 for Teal. This one is flown high into foul territory, and it will be caught for the last out of the inning by Yoshida. 3 no-hit innings for McGill. We had the first 2 batters get on off of walks. Since then, 9 up, 9 down. The offense continuing to let us down. Top of the 4th, Rafael Devers will get things started, and he swings and misses at the cutter. Wisniewski has not let up a base runner so far. In the biggest game of his career, unlike the position players, he has lived up to the moment. As Masataka Yoshida singles into center. First hit allowed by Wisniewski today. Just the second of the game for the Red Sox. And we'll see if this is where they can do some damage. In a game that could be low scoring, both teams need all the runs they could get. Wong goes down looking on the slurve. Good pitch by Wisniewski. Christian Campbell, the only other player with a hit, sends this one over to short. Diving play. Schneemann to first. In time! We've had some ridiculous defensive plays in the middle infield today. It's Demon Schneemann who comes down with this one for the final out of the frame. Still scoreless as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Maybe this is where we get something from the offense. Maybe, just maybe, pretty please, with a cherry on top. Caro flies this one high and deep into right. Chasing after it is Rafaela, and he makes the catch! Say Don Rafaela! The Don comes down with it, robbing the fans in foul territory. Oh my goodness, what a play by Rafaela. 2-2 here for Brian Ramos. The average down to 250 as he goes down on the slider. I love seeing the amount of fans in the building, even on a rainy day. It's our most important game of the year. It's the final home game of the regular season, and very likely the season overall, unless we make it into the playoffs. As Don Rafaela goes down on the slurve. I've noticed, though, in between at bats, there's an inconsistent number of fans in the seats. Like, what are we doing, MLB The Show? Buddy Kennedy with 2 away flies it into left. Montgomery is under it. He will make the play. 4 innings, 1 hit. That's it for Hayden Wisniewski. He certainly did his job. His day is done. Absolutely fantastic. But he's getting no run support. We still don't even have a hit. 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th for Daniel Schneemann. I mean, that's where we're at right now. That ball hit him, and he still swung. Now behind in the count, 1-2. Swings at another pitch in the dirt. And Schneemann's got really good plate discipline. This is unlike him. 5 no-hit innings for Tyler McGill. We are still scoreless in the biggest game of the year. Penn Murphy will throw the 6th. 3.79 ERA. He's been inconsistent this year. Was really good early. Tailed off since. And the ERA's gotten really just higher and higher as the season's gone along. Nelly Taylor into the opposite field. That is a fair ball. It'll roll all the way to the corner. Montgomery tries to get over to it quickly. But Taylor is into second with the first extra base hit of the game. A 1-out double. Runner in scoring position for Boston's best hitters as Devers swings it 1 out at the zone. That sweeper is just too filthy from Penn Murphy as Julks makes the play. Masataka Yoshida made the All-Star team. He's been a rock in the Red Sox lineup this year. Hits it well, but foul. Was a little bit ahead of the fastball. Penn Murphy does not throw hard, and I think that throws a lot of guys off. Back to the sweeper, swing and a miss. That pitch is unhittable. It looks like a strike and has so much movement on it. The Red Sox will make a pitching change in the bottom of the 6th. It's Josh Winkowski. I don't get this at all. Tyler McGill has retired 15 batters in a row. He let the first 2 guys on off of walks. Since then, nothing. This kind of shows me that the Red Sox are trying to preserve McGill's arm for October, which means they feel like they've already got their spot locked up. And the team that's right behind them chasing that spot is us. So that tells me that the Red Sox don't respect us at all. And the way we're hitting the ball today, I don't really blame them. 6 no-hit innings from the Boston pitching staff as it remains scoreless. But a loud and clear statement by taking McGill out of the game. And now it just got personal. Prelander Berroa here in the 7th, his first big league outing in around 2 months. The Red Sox have a lot of lefties at the top of the order, and I want them to play against Burke. So I needed a guy who can get 4 or 5 batters, and I feel Berroa can do that as he strikes out Connor Juan in his first appearance back. Juan 0 for 3, 3 Ks. Christian Campbell, 1-2. Swinging a miss on the sinker. Berroa looks like he has not lost a step since coming back, as that will bring up Willie Castro. Count is even. 2-2. Pitch from Berroa. Ooh, that's a close one. It kind of hit like the bottom part of the zone. I think it scraped the white. So by definition, maybe it is a strike. 3-2. Not even close, and he whiffs badly. Throw to first by Caro is in time. That should have easily been ball 4, but Castro swings anyway. Berroa strikes out the side, and now we are stretching going into the bottom of the 7th. You know, our offense could use a stretch or two. Full count here for Luis Robert. I don't believe it! We've done it! It's a base runner! For the first time since the top of the first inning, after 18 consecutive retired batters, we get a runner aboard. Caro pops it up. That was a great pitch to hit. Campbell under it, and he will make the play. Still no hits for the White Sox, while Boston has just 3 more. That'll bring you up Corey Julks now with 2 away, and that one goes for a base hit. The no-hit bid is over. It lasts nearly 7 innings. In our biggest game of the year, it took 2.5 trips through the order to get one. Better late than never. And now all of a sudden, doors wide open to make a play. 2 on, 2 away for Cruz. Swinging a miss on the slider. He should not have swung at that pitch. Behind 1-2, wanted to be aggressive, and it does not work out. Still scoreless into the 8th. Our pitching is basically hanging on for dear life. Cedar Rafaela leads it off against Berroa, and that one gets by Ramos for a base hit. And the Red Sox have one of their faster runners aboard. After that play, the officials would talk things over with our manager. The weather has gotten bad, so much so that we are headed to a 45-minute rain delay. Could this change things with how these 2 pitching staffs have performed? I wanted Berroa to face off against one more batter. Then the Red Sox get to their 4 consecutive lefties. But it doesn't make sense for him to wait 45 minutes, come back in, and then face one guy. So Brock Burke will come in a batter early against Buddy Kennedy, swinging a miss on the sinker. Keep in mind the Red Sox already have a runner at first, so that's obviously a promising start to the inning. Much of the stadium clearing out. The Loyals still here. Runner goes for second. He's out again! Edgar Caro throws out another. The best defensive game of Edgar's career. Now 2 away and nobody on for Mayer. That one is lined up the middle for a base hit. Another runner aboard here for Boston. And another chance to do some damage. Ball don't lie, I guess. 1 runner thrown out. New runner on base. And he'll be replaced by the speedster David Hamilton. It's Nelly Taylor, 2-2. Swinging a miss. Why would they not bring a pinch hitter? I get it, he had the double earlier, but that seems really irresponsible. We'll see if that backfires. Still scoreless going into the bottom of the 8th as the lefty Colin Poche is out of the pen. He'll face off against Cody Hosey. Belts this one into right center field. It's got some carry. At the track, at the wall, it is gone! We have runs, people. This is not a drill. Cody Hosey, his 8th and certainly most important home run of the year. We needed a big swing, and we got it from Hosey. The White Sox lead it 1-0. Thank goodness his name has an E at the end, otherwise that sign would not be such a good look. But still, the biggest play of the season so far. Cody Hosey delivers with a solo shot. Look, our offense has not been good this month, and they've been awful today. Only one hit before this at bat. But in baseball, all it might take is one swing, and your fortunes are changed. With 2 away, Teal launches a rocket into center. It's got some carry, but is eventually caught. Very successful inning, though, considering how we've played offensively the rest of the game. Cody Hosey with a solo shot, and we move into the 9th. Burke will stay in the game. The Red Sox have 2 more lefties up as Devers lines it into right, and it is caught by Cruz for out number 1. Ezra Valenzuela warming up in the bullpen, presumably will come in after this at bat. It's Masataka Yoshida. Behind in the count, 1-2. Swing and a miss on the well inside circle change, jumping out of his shoes. We are going to take Burke out of the game. I give him a lot of credit, though. He had that really bad game last weekend in Atlanta, but he was certainly made for the moment today. 5 batters, retired 4 of them, as he'll be replaced by Ezra Valenzuela, who looks to shut the door and win the game. He only has to get 1 out, but we're only up by 1. He doesn't exactly have run support. Up the middle, base hit for Connor Juan. The tying run is aboard for the Red Sox, and the go-ahead run is now at the plate. Can Boston potentially take the lead after all that? 3-1 for Christian Campbell. This one is flown into right center. It is high, it is deep, but it is not deep enough. The White Sox win the game 1-0 with a solo home run in the bottom of the 8th inning by Cody Hosey to win the game, end the series, and with 6 games to go, we are within 2 of the Red Sox, and we are within, I believe, 2 of the Tigers. Still going to be an uphill battle, but we only have to catch one of those teams to make the playoff. Whether we're in as the 3 seed or the 6 seed, I don't really care. I just want to get in. Brock Burke with the win. An inning and 2/3. He was phenomenal. Cody Hosey with the home run. Tyler McGill did not allow a hit. I still don't get why they took him out. I understand wanting to preserve his arm for October, but, I mean, their spot in the playoffs is far from locked. We could easily catch up. This pitching staff deserves so much credit. With Drew Thorpe unexpectedly removed from the game due to the injury, the bullpen goes 8 1/3 scoreless. They were phenomenal. Drew Thorpe, head contusion. He'll be out for a week or 2, so that's why the doctors took him out. I should not have doubted them. We're not going to put him on the injured list because if we make the playoffs, I want the flexibility of him being on the playoff roster. His regular season comes to a close. He will not make his final start. Certainly an up and down season, but we are certainly going to potentially need him for the playoffs. Either Baroa or Wisniewski will pitch what would have been his last start later against the Rangers. So 6 games to go. We're 2 behind Detroit. We're 2 behind Boston. For us, it's a West Coast road trip. The Mariners playing for seeding. The Rangers already out. The Tigers will play Toronto and the Marlins. Miami fighting for their playoff lives. And then the Red Sox at home against the Rays and the Orioles. Both of those teams are obviously fighting for playoff spots. Only 2 teams have clinched in the AL, the Rays and the Mariners, who won their division. The Phillies and Dodgers won their divisions in the NL, but that's it. The wild card race is super close here as well, and the team to watch, in my opinion, is the Marlins. I don't care if they make the playoffs or not, but I do not want it to be easy for them because we need the Marlins' final 3 games to matter since they're playing against Detroit, and obviously we want the Marlins to win those games. So we've got 6 to go against the Mariners and the Rangers. We're 2 behind Detroit. We're 2 behind Boston. And I think I'm going to leave you guys on that. A cliffhanger for the next episode. I know usually I do the full month in one, but these 6 games are basically playoff games for us, and I'm going to treat them as such. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.